Now, the quirky lineups are definitely worth talking about, especially when your manager is pitch hitting for his leadoff hitter late in games. As John Granado noted on Twitter, that's a pretty good indicator that player should not be in the leadoff spot if you don't trust him late in games. And on the other hand, there is a Bly mattress on the Astros roster. There's also a David Hensley of the 120 batting average, David Hensley's, that's being called up to fill holes on the main roster. How much of this is on Dusty and the quirky lineups and the shuffling of the lineups? And how much do we begin to question Dana Brown for the tools that he's giving to Dusty Baker? And I guess it also worth asking too, how much should we just shut our mouths because the Astros have gone 20-17 without Yordan?
Well, we never shut our mouths. There wouldn't be much Stone Cold Stros if that were the case. Dana Brown, to me, gets a pass here. He got the job in January, right? All the offseason maneuvering was basically done at that point. The Astros roster depth without Yordan, without Altuve, it's terrible, right? You look at the guys in reserve most days, and they're typically not major league ball players. You're going to likely get a ceiling on returns from guys like Corey Julks, 3 for his last 36. Dubon's been a great story. He's not a good offensive player. He's a sub-700 OPS guy. He's drawn 10 walks with 327 at-bats. On-base percentage, 293. Hey, he hit the game-winning home run on Sunday, and Jeremy Pena should be sending him flowers and candy. Jeremy Pena is a freaking disaster right now. He belongs with the Space Cowboys. That's how bad Jeremy Pena has been over the last couple of months. So there are certain buttons that Dusty can be pushing, and you just don't have good buttons to push. However, the Maldonado-Diaz thing, if Dana Brown can't make a notable trade to fortify the bench, and obviously pitching's the priority, well, maybe he can pick up at Barnes & Noble lineup making for dummies and leave that in the manager's office. The Maldonado thing, frankly, if you're an Astros fan or an Astro, it's to the point of offensive. Post-Memorial Day, you guys want to do a little Price is Right thing? One of you? Higher, lower? It's one of their games. Post-Memorial Day. Who wants this? Josh, you want it?
Sure.
Post-Memorial Day, going into the Rangers series, Martin Maldonado's batting average is, go.
140.
Lower.
120.
Lower.
100.
Higher.
110.
Higher.
115.
Lower.
114.
Lower.
112.
Higher.
113.
Ding, 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 ding. 113. You could raffle off his spot in the batting order to fans in the stands and have a 50-50 shot of someone hitting 113. OPS 423. Team ERA with the pitchers, lower when Yainer Diaz is catching. The Saturday night game in Oakland, you're down 2-1 in the 7th inning. You don't hit for Martin Maldonado. 2 innings later, Yainer Diaz this close to tying the game when pinch hitting for Martin Maldonado. Then Maldonado remains the primary catcher. It's to the point of pure lunacy, idiocy, or any other C you want to throw in here, but it's a grade F, not C, for Dusty on that component of lineup making. Dubon, Pena 1-2. What, because they run kind of fast? In Pena's case, quite fast. The job is to get on base. Chas McCormick continuing to bat 7th in some circumstances. There are things that Dusty has done with the lineup that are to the point of unconscionable and beyond indefensible.
Yeah, I was watching the game with some friends yesterday and, seeing Bly Madras hitting in front of Chas McCormick. The way Chas has been hitting this year, he's been incredible. And, of course, the left-handed thing came up. And I'm like, yeah, he has to hit there because he's left-handed and he's terrible. Like, what does it matter if he's a bad hitter, if he's left or right-handed or not? It's super frustrating. We've been on the Chas train for a while. Dusty still – we're starting to see him play pretty much every day, but look what that took to make that happen. And he's still batting way down in the lineup. I don't get it. When Pena was hitting really well in the 2-hole, he didn't want to play him there. And now you're starting to worry, is Pena going to pull out of this? We talked about this all last season with Dusty, and then they won the World Series and all these kind of conversations went away. And here we are again this year, and Dusty's making these head scratching lineup decisions and calls, and we're talking about it again. So I just feel like he's a different manager in the regular season versus the postseason.
Yeah.
He's tactically challenged, frankly, always has been, right? He's a great esprit de corps guy and a player's manager in over 162 games. Morale's really important as long as you have the core talent to do it. A lot of this gets cleaned up when decisions largely get taken out of Dusty's hands. If and when you have Altuve leading off almost every day and Jordan batting third almost every day, right, then things kind of fall into place, presuming Bregman staying in the 2-hole, Tucker 4, and then you just sort it out between Abreu and McCormick, and then you get to Diaz, Dusty, Diaz, and then Pena down toward the bottom, and then whoever the ninth starter is, whether it's Julks or Myers in the outfield, is Jordan DHing a given day, or Altuve, who's not going to play second base every day. When he's DHing, is Dubon at second there. But the components of the lineup are largely Dusty-proofed once you get Altuve and Alvarez back in there.
And I agree with your premise that Dana Brown's mostly, a made man right now because of the situation that he walked into kind of late. But on the other hand, it is curious to bring up a David Hensley who's hitting 120 at the big club and not doing really much better down in AAA as well. Don't you think there's some maneuvering that could happen with the 40-man? So maybe we could see a guy like Pedro Leon. We've heard about the legend of Pedro Leon for many years now, and we haven't seen him get an opportunity. In a time in which you're struggling to find big sticks in the lineup, maybe it is time to take a look at this guy. You've got, John Singleton, who's been, on a home run tear down in AAA. I know he doesn't have any options, and I know he's down on the 40-man, but that's kind of my point. Like, isn't in a time in which you're kind of in need and searching for really anything at this point, isn't that a time to maybe take some unconventional approaches to things?
Singleton, I leave aside. He's just never shown he can hit major league pitching. But Leon, the name you throw out there, you really didn't take to the infield very well. They tried him at short, tried him at second. Well, whatever. In an emergency spot, you could put him in a middle infield position, and obviously he has the center fielder pedigree. He's 24 years old now, so this isn't some babe in the woods. So the idea that we don't want to call him up to sit on the bench. Right? We want him playing every day, still getting the reps and still developing and ripening the apple and so forth. At some point, let's go here. It's about the 2023 Astros trying to defend their World Series championship. But even accepting the point, okay, we're not going to call him up if we're not going to put him in the lineup, to call up Hensley and then DH him. What are you doing? You're calling up Hensley to be the guy who you sit on the bench, and if everyone else gets hurt or we're out of pinch runner possibilities in the 12th inning and someone has to go in there, but he inserts him at a designated hitter. Greg Kessinger leading off one game. It's like, other than Kyle Tucker in the 3 spot, Dusty draws the lineup out of the hat some days.
Yeah, and as far as the outfield goes, would he even play any of those guys? He loves to stick Jake Myers in there, even at the expense of Chaz. He loves playing Corey Julks. I don't think he's getting away from those guys.